Hi there, I'm David Savinar and I'm running for City Council number 2 position. And this is Pat and this is Bob, and they're going to talk to you today. I am not. Come to the station though, or not to the station, but come to the school. We're here 3 weekends for 2 hours, Saturday and Sunday.
That's great. My name is Bob Morey. I'm running for mayor. Pat is running for council position 4. Main reason I'm running is we just need change in Gearhart. We've had essentially leadership that has been recycled. We have ideas that have been recycled. It's time to get some new people in and let's find a path forward. We need to get things done. We need to get them done now. Not deferring action on stuff. And I want to find physically conservative solutions to our problems. We are a city that's dependent on residential property taxes. We do not have the ability to increase our tax base easily. And so we should be looking at physically conservative approaches to everything. We have 2 major issues we have to handle on infrastructure, and that is resolve the building of our public safety building and get it to the right size for this community. And likewise, we have another very important issue, and that's our water rights. Without understanding our water rights, we are not in a position to make any determination on what we're doing on growth. We'd like to maintain a residential flavor for Gearhart, but again, when you're an all-residential city, you just can't grow your revenue source. And it gives us a dilemma that we're going to have to look at for the long-term future of Gearhart. One thing also, I want to get out in the community. It's seeing our people. We live in a lovely environment, but if you are not getting out in the street, you really don't understand the city. So one thing I know I'll be doing is getting out, walking every street of this city every month so you can see what's happening, so you get a texture, feel of the city. It allows you to listen to people when they talk to you because you understand their environment. The other one is we'll have a twice a month get together with the mayor so I can listen to what you're thinking, not tell me what I'm thinking. I want to hear what you're thinking. So if you'd like change, look forward to working with you. Love living in this community, and we have a very special spot. Thank you.
Okay, Patricia Roberts, and I'm running for district or position number 4. I chose specifically to run for that position because it already had someone who'd been appointed in it. My pet peeve is appointments. There was a point at which there were 3 people on the council, this is in the last 4 years, that were appointed. 3 is the majority. That meant an awful lot of people weren't being represented because each time you appoint someone, you've not allowed for an election. Election means people get to choose who they want to represent them. How do you know that your point of view that you have in this little special group represents the most people? And that's my number 1 peeve and my number 1 reason for running. I know a lot of you don't know me, you don't remember me. I finished my 8 years as a county commissioner 12 years ago, in 2012. So for 12 years I've been playing hooky, I've been taking care of family obligations and doing other things. I still belong, I've been on the board of the Clatsop County Historical Society, very exciting. We're building a film museum. We've got about 80% of the proceeds raised. I'm excited about that. We maintain 5 historic buildings, including the Flavel House, you know, that little place in Astoria, its carriage house, the Heritage Museum, which was the old City Hall, firefighters, and the Oregon Film Museum. The Oregon Film Museum is that little thing that was the jail that's on the property of the courthouse. So the Film Museum stays, and the building diagonally across, called the Gold Glass Building, that's the new Film Museum. So if you've not been to the Film Museum, you should go. It's fun. I have to say that I looked at those experiences. And I said, okay, I've done this before. As a county commissioner, we were given a Second Circuit Court judge. They presented us, and by the way, they need a courtroom, facilities, and a budget. We'll provide this much of it, and it's up to you, county, to figure out how to do the rest. Well, what we did as a board was we involved every department and every person countywide, department by department. They had to show us what they did with their money, what they produced for that money, how their facilities were met, what they needed 5 years and 10 years down the road. We took all that information. It took lots of work, lots of meetings. But in the end, we found, oh, look at this. We have Clatsop County state forest income, which is discretionary. Well, if we take that and we start applying it to these things we need, we were able to completely remodel the National Registry courthouse, earthquake the bottom floor, put in a new courtroom that took clues from the original one on the second floor. We did that, then we moved the court down there, then we went upstairs and put the stiffening on the floor on the second floor, and thus didn't interrupt the court schedule. Now, we were able to do this without going out for a bond because we used income we had. Now, Gearhart says they don't have any. Well, everybody swore the county didn't have any, and we found some. I just bet you we could come up with some kind of a solution that would at least help us. But regardless of that, we need to have a government that's responsive. And if you go and look on the website, go and look on Seaside's website, or look on other cities' websites, and they have much more information. That isn't that it's so difficult, it's actually easy to read. And we do not communicate well with our citizens on any level, at the meetings, on the website. And in fact, the recording system, if you try to Zoom, you can't hear it. It's so bad. People that watched the candidates forum that was last Tuesday in Seaside said, oh, Seaside has a great recording system. They have a YouTube. You could hear it. It was crystal clear, and you could see it. Number one, Seaside, Gearhart's got to have a better system of recording so it can communicate with people even if they can't come to the meetings. That's number one. Number two, we've got to go through every single department and get a hierarchy and get reports that mean something so they can be accountable. If you don't have a report, they're not accountable. So enough of the physical conservative that I am. The other things that just jump out at me is our current mayor, 2 years ago, did not have any interest in this property, the school, none, zero. Knowing that they had a new public safety building to build, they were all part of it, but they didn't see the potential, the intrinsic value of this property, just even if it was the bare land. They had every opportunity to purchase it. I'm glad Bob got it because he's actually really improved it. And it bothers me that we have had people, as Bob said, we have had people that are recycled over and over and over, and they come from the same genre. They have no outside experience. I welcome David's experience. I want him to come and yell at me and tell me he wants to save every tree, and I
do.
You know, and that's great. We want diversity. We want controversy amongst us, not that we're going to change. We're not going to change the character of the city, other than we'd like to see the downtown be enlivened a little bit so that you could actually go and have a meal there that wouldn't cost you $75 to $100. And a store that realized that you need coffee Monday and Tuesday when the other shop is closed. If they just put a coffee pot on, people might come in and actually buy something else from them. I mean, it's just a mentality I don't understand. And I don't understand why I, as a resident here, since 1990, can't have and enjoy our downtown. We're deprived. I'm deprived, yes. It's just, I would much rather us think outside the box, act outside the box, and get something done. Just think, if the city had purchased this property, even if they hadn't done anything to the school, they would at least have a place to put public works. They could stage their fire station on the property that's adjacent to them on the other side of the, right by David's place. What's that? What utility is that? Is that PGE?
Yeah.
They could stage it there. Pacific Power, and completely demolish the fire station and public works and have the full lot to put in their fire station. They would have enough room. Or, because public works could certainly fit down here. There's also room for a fire station right out front, as Mr. Murray has graciously offered to the city. So it's going to be interesting to see what they come up with, what solutions the city comes. And they've been doing a good job of tracking down potential expenses. The question is going to be, what do they ask? How do they use that information, and what questions do they ask? Are we building to the right resiliency? Is that what we want, resiliency? Does that mean an earthquake to the 7th Richter scale or to the 3rd Richter scale? What intensity of resistance and building to survive? I mean, I have this image of our public safety building sitting up there on these stilts that are down in the foundation, right? And it's floating, because everything else around it's wiped out. We just had that tsunami earthquake. There's nobody left. There are no buildings left. There's no streets, nothing. Have you ever seen what that level of an earthquake and tsunami does to a community? There's nothing left. What are we building this resiliency for? A building that sits all by itself, and you can't drive the stuff out of it, but there it sits. And I just ask, what questions will they ask of the consultants, and what solutions will they come up with? What about you?
Well, I think you see why I'm happy to be running with Pat. And same thing with David. We are different people. I respect both of their opinions. Pat has so much more experience governmentally than I do, and will die not having her experience. But it's a great resource to have to be able to share. Makes me comfortable if I'm running, something happens to me, there'll be somebody who can step in who has something to offer with a lot of depth and feeling for this community. And it's about time we have that change. David, I get a kick out of. I love his vitality. We think differently, but I respect him. And that's the benefit we've found as a group. And we'll work the same thing with the other people on the council. It's listening to the other ones, try to get something that's a positive long-term solution. And again, Pat, thank you for everything you've said, because there's nothing I'm disagreeing with. How we implement it and how we communicate, let's make sure we're out walking down our street and saying hi to our neighbor. We want to be welcoming. If we're welcoming, I think we have something for the future. I love walking. I love the trails. I'm going to go out walking pathways. I want to figure out how we have trails forever in this community and how we protect them. Miller Park, you get back to Miller Park, the lunacy we went through of Miller Park even being on this idea of we're going to build there, and our neighbors in 7-8 days got 500 plus signatures saying, what are you doing? And we shouldn't have that. We should have more communication going on through our entire process of what assets we keep. I'd like to see Miller Park protected forever. So can we do that as a municipality? Don't know the answer. But I don't want to hear us having that discussion again in 10 years. Oh, let's put something else up there. But I look forward to working with you, Pat and David, and for the community. Know that we care, we live here, we made a conscious choice. I wasn't born here. We made a choice, this is where we're going to be because our children are nearby, and that's a big driver for us and for many other people to stay in this region. And David, what, 4 generations in the area for David, that his family's been here? You've been here,
Well, I'm a native Oregonian, but family is originally from Chicago, my father's side, but that was 1906.
and I first came here when I was 17 years old with a buddy after I got out of high school and saw Oregon, and then ended up in 1989, my wife and I ended up moving to Portland, and then we got something over here on the coast. We've got a special spot, let's take care of it, and we look forward to working for you. David, any comment?
I agree. Let's get it going.